Alan's behind.
I call to order a regular council meeting on this Monday, February 10th, 2025 at 5:30 PM. Shall we stand for the pledge to our flag and Council Baber, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, City Clerk.
Counselor Miller,
Present.
Counselor Lacewell, present. Counselor Baber,
Here.
Counselor Proctor,
Present.
Mary Howard.
Okay, first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I would request a motion to approve the agenda.
That motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Counselor Proctor,
Aye.
Counselor Lacewell. Aye. Counselor Baber.
Aye.
Counselor Miller.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda.
I would like to make a motion that councilors that we discuss and possibly amend minutes before we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Counselor Baber,
Yes.
Counselor Miller,
Aye.
Counselor Proctor.
Aye.
Counselor Lacewell. Aye. Motion carried.
And so in the minutes for January 27th, it says there were 3 employees present. And then it names appointed people, and one of those people, the city attorney, is a contracted independent contractor, not an employee. So I'd like to see that changed. And in addition to the other appointed people that are on there, we did have some employees, including department directors, Mr. Jarvis, Ms. Rentera, is that her name? Jeanette's last name?
Rescinded.
Rescinded, thank you. And also our officer, Sam Hanna, was here. In addition to that, we had an official from the court. The court administrator was there, and she's the only one who gives us department reports. I don't know why. But so she was here, and I would like to discuss adding those names to the minutes.
Mr. Mayor,
Second that motion.
when we were trained to do the minutes, we were trained to only list the people that participate in the meetings. So that's why the minutes have been like that since the previous clerk was here and the previous clerk prior to her.
Did you know that, Councilor Lacewell?
I did not know that. So does that mean if Joey doesn't speak, he doesn't get on the minutes?
Correct.
If he does speak
Yes, then he gets on the minutes.
and he didn't speak?
No, that,
You know that?
no, not this last meeting he did.
All right, thanks.
And John
Yeah.
participated as well, and he's always been considered a city employee.
Even though he's not an employee, he doesn't get benefits, he doesn't get.
That's the way they've always listed him.
Well, maybe if you list me as an employee, I guess it does.
There's your chance.
President has been set, been like that.
I certainly don't mind if you refer to me as city attorney John Underwood.
Yeah, we can
Refer
list-
to me as city employee.
Yeah.
Guest, we'll list you as a guest.
No, I'm not a guest.
Well,
Be here.
city attorney is appropriate. Yeah, no, well, we list him as city attorney, but he's underneath the city municipal employees. You're listed as underneath.
And that's because if you have a city attorney as an employee, that's the reason they're listed, and ours has always been contracted. So, I mean, it's
So it's always been.
simple. It's not a big deal either way, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Following that discussion, counselors, do you think we should just leave it as it is?
I think otherwise, my suggestion is that otherwise, what the city clerk is gonna have to do is go through the entire group here and list all the employees or not list, and they get up and leave, they come in late, whatever. So in my estimation, it should be only those who are addressing the council at the time. It's easier, more effective.
Are you all okay with the minutes as they are written?
I guess so, making everything easier to fit their foot, but not to fit our foot. So if that's it, that's fine with me.
Well, what would be easier to fit your foot?
To have the minutes verbatim, or not verbatim, but to have the minutes to what someone says and what they don't say, but we couldn't get that, and we're so far behind, we're 6 months behind,
Right.
and we get behind in that, then we lose stuff. So that's, if you remember correctly, back when it was in there, I just said, we just need to clean play.
Right.
And we went back to this system right here.
And you recall the law that we're not required, she's not required to put the minutes verbatim. Otherwise, we would spend all year trying to do minutes, which we did.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
The minutes, the consent agenda has already been approved.
No, before we can approve the consent agenda, I said, before we approve the consent agenda, let's see if we need to amend the minutes.
Yeah, good. We have,
It hasn't.
but we can do it again.
It hasn't been approved, not the consent agenda.
Yes, I had a
No,
Lacewell, Miller, and then I did a.
That was the
that
agenda,
was the agenda, I think.
not the consent.
No, the consent agenda was Miller and Baber. The consent agenda was Lacewell and Miller. But it's okay, we can do it again.
So we
We
made,
didn't vote on it.
You made the motion to approve it with the removal of the minutes, so that's one motion. So go ahead, just approve it again and you'll be okay.
I just made that motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second it, I guess. Didn't I? You got me mixed up now.
Proctor,
Yes.
Counselor Miller,
I,
Counselor Baber.
Aye.
Counselor Lacewell. Motion carried.
Next item is public input. Do we have anyone would like to address the governing body? Please state your name, even though we know who you are.
Beth Miller, resident of Ritos down for some time. I just wanted to say that I did hear that I think everything had been frozen regarding grants and such as that from the federal level. And I was really grateful to hear that the monies that's either been blocked or stopped for at least a bit. So for those, we need that money for our grants. And I don't know if y'all heard that, but I thought it was very good news. We can't do anything without matching funds. So anyway, it's a good word, city.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the governing body? Takes us to item number 7 on the agenda, councilors' comments. Councilors? Yes, Counselor.
Thank you. I'm not sure y'all are aware, but there are people who work down at our community center who are volunteers, amazing volunteers doing amazing things for our community. And I think it'd be a neat idea to have some type of recognition of the volunteers and even the employees who work down at that senior citizen center. Maybe in the future, we could think about doing something.
Jody, I agree with you because without volunteers, you don't get a whole lot done and they need some recognition. Maybe we'd get more.
I'll bake you a cake.
You'd make.
I'll bake you a cake.
Volunteers are very important.
Counselor Proctor?
Yay, just basically, to the chief, I understand we've got a couple of new officers on the burner. That is coming up, and we've got 2 of them that's certified, or just one?
One is certified, and the other one is not certified.
Okay, I just for a comment, we'd have to approve it, I guess, and I don't know if it would be for us to write it up as a counselor and put it on the agenda, or if it would come from the chief of police, since it's in his department. But I would like to see, we send a individual to the police academy, and in the past, we've sent them and they come back to get off probation. They go to the county or they go to Rio Dosa. And we lose that money we invested in them. So I'd like to see a 4 or a 5-year cap on that, to where each year so much money's taken off of that. And if he leaves before that term, it's not a contract, it's an agreement. It's just a situation that he signs, and we can put it in policy book, whatever. anyway, that he would, he'd have to pay that money before he could leave. To pay for his, you know, if he paid half of it, stay. A good example is if it cost $8,000, he stayed 4 years, then he's gonna have, and he leaves in 2 years, he owes us $4,000. And he has to pay that because we paid for his education being a police officer. So,
I'm trying to think back to my days on the council. I'm almost positive that, we pursued that and, found out that, near as I can remember, it wasn't legal, wasn't enforceable. If you want to check again, be my guest.
look into it, Cloudcroft's doing it, Alamogordo does it, and, I do think, Las Cruces is one of the big cities that does it, that when they send them to the police academy. So.
So they don't get their training and just almost.
Right, and then after we come off probation, because they have to be certified within a year. So when they come off of probation, they just pack their bags and they go someplace else.
So, you say Alamogordo and Las Cruces and Cloudcroft do it?
Cloudcroft, yeah, I think
Have you
they've
seen a
had,
copy of the agreement?
pardon,
How do you know that?
because they told us.
Okay, and did you see a copy of the agreement?
Nope, I did not. I didn't see what the agreement said, but it's simplified.
Was it the mayor that told you?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so I'll contact the mayor.
The mayor and a couple of counselors when we, last year when we was up at the, Santa Fe.
I'll contact the mayor of Alamogordo, contact the mayor of Cloudcroft.
And find out and find, you know, and just find out, do they have an agreement before they have to?
The issues that I ran into before were one of conscription. If you had somebody that you said you can't leave until you pay back the money and they don't pay back the money, and they don't come to work, what do you do?
Yeah.
Sue them, that's what you're for, ain't it?
It's gotta be, I think we're having a hard enough time getting officers.
Yeah, we hired one the other day, where's he at?
That's him.
Yeah.
He's in Las Cruces. He has a psychological test in the morning.
But I thought he was all ready to go.
I had a talk with our HR, she called me because I had. some
We need to be
citizens-
real careful discussing personnel matters. in an
Yes.
Open meeting.
No, I just wondered where he was at, I hadn't seen him,
He's not here.
so he's not working.
He is working. He's working at a desk job only. Not on patrol.
Until,
He passes psychological.
so we probably shouldn't have hired him until he got qualified, huh?
It's qualified.
Well, apparently it's not.
It's something to do with HR.
Well, I was going to explain, but apparently that's,
I'm just concerned about if we throw that out into a discussion.
well, it's not a discussion, it's just
It's-
what,
it's-
it's the ruling that that HR has put out, and that's what we go by to save us money.
Our personnel code requires that anybody who's going to serve as an officer pass a psychological exam.
Also stipulates in there too, John, that they'll be probated for 1 year. So that means all the officers are probated for 1 year.
That's correct.
Okay.
Unless there's an exception in hiring.
That exception looked at and is already passed, and there was no exceptions to it. So now then,
And I don't recall whether there was an exception or not. I'm just saying that I've seen that exception passed in the past when somebody had sufficient background to not be on probation for a full year.
and to do that exception, when it come to the council, that exception would be in
That's correct.
the hiring.
That's correct.
Okay, and that statement was made to the police chief before anyone was ever hired. And it wasn't done. So now then the man's on probation for 1 year.
Correct.
Any other comments, counselors? That will take us to actually item 9, new business.
So I found an amendment. I apologize for not getting it right first time. Jim brought this to my attention.
Let me go ahead and read
I'm
that.
sorry.
And this will be, just reading only. Item A is renewal of cooperative agreement and lease Red Osa Downs Senior Center between the city of Red Osa Downs and Lincoln County. So you have some information and John is going to let us have a look at that, so you'll be able to make a good decision.
So this cooperative, and I apologize, Mr. Mayor, getting ahead of you. The cooperative agreement, was entered into 10 years ago. And Judy sent me a text or an email, one or the other morning, and said, I was at the Senior Citizen Center, and I think the fellow that runs that said that the lease had expired on January 31st. So I contacted Randall Camp at the county. He was unaware of it, as was I. So I got a copy of the cooperative agreement that we entered into 10 years ago. I believe that I was the attorney when this was done 10 years ago, because I remember negotiating with the county over some of the same discussion that we were having. And the issue, the reason that it has been amended is that there have been some accounting rules that have changed since in the last 10 years. The statutes still allow a government to government lease for a nominal sum, because usually one government returns services to the other government that more than make up for the assessed value. Otherwise, you have to lease something at the assessed value. But a government to government lease is different. It's like we can give property of ours, real property, I mean, a personal property of ours to another government for a nominal sum. So this is a lease of obviously the Senior Citizen Center. And what was done 10 years ago was a nominal sum of $1 for 10 years in return for the county providing to our citizens the operations of the Senior Citizen Center, including but not limited to the meal site program. And county has complete management of the leased property, provided it shall also continue to be made available to the general public for city type meetings. I think that so long as we provide to them 48 hours notice, I believe, of our desire to use the property. So in researching this, because Mary gave me a heads up that she thought the law had changed. The law hasn't changed, but the accounting principles have changed. And so what the accounting principles, I called 2 or 3 different CPAs to make sure I was on the right track, require that you can only now enter into a 12-month lease. And you can have provisions for it being renewed, but you must also have a provision for it being terminated by either party within the period of the lease. So the renewal of the cooperative agreement that I gave to you, the latest edition, said that the term of the lease shall be for 12 months beginning February 1, and terminated as provided herein. The county shall have possession and occupancy of the premises, and the lease, the county agrees to pay as rental the sum of $1 per month, per year for the leased premises. And then both parties agree the lease may be terminated at any time by the other party given 30 days notice. The question comes up, and it came up the last time, well, what do we get in return? And so what I've heard and what I understand is that the county provides the services of the Senior Citizens Center to us without charging us for that service. In return, we give to them the use of the building, subject to us being able to use it also. So it's kind of a cooperative agreement. So
But
That's not.
Sure.
we pay all the utilities.
we pay the water, the trash, and
Sewer.
the sewer, which are provisions that we provide.
How about electricity?
They pay electricity.
And
And
then
the
they
gas.
also do the insurance.
Yes.
Okay.
And the insurance.
Yes, if you read, okay, just. Dean,
Counselor,
apologize for interrupting like that. In the contract that they're asking us to go by at the back, and it says right there how much insurance they have to cover and carry. And if the place burns down, their insurance has to cover it. If something blows up, floods the place, their insurance got to cover it. So they have to, all that being said, then they do have to maintain the insurance on it. So we have the building insured and we're not paying that insurance. So I don't know what the insurance is, and they have to pay, then they've got liability in that insurance for somebody slips on the floor, breaks their back, whatever, they have to cover that.
That's correct.
So I rest.
Yes, Counselor.
I would like to know what we spent the last 10 years over there. From Mary.
Or
And
what?
on utilities,
Yeah, everything. Whatever we spent in the last 10 years on there, I'd like to see. Because, it's like them buses we catch over there all the time that's using them bathrooms and stuff, and we're just paying for that stuff. I think the citizens in this town have got enough stuff to pay for.
so which buses are you talking about?
Them freaking tour buses that pull in there all the time. They just let them. But I think we need to look at some figures myself
Well,
to see what we spent the last 10 years.
well, you figured. I want my utilities on my home are roughly. Just for the water, trash and sewer, I'm probably gonna say. And my electricity, just the city's bill is like $96, and that's. Unless I had a leak, then when it goes up a little bit. So looking at their size and everything, you'd figure it'd be 150, maybe 200 with the water and stuff they use. They got 2 dishwashers over there. Like,
They go by that sewer too.
yeah, you go all that. And let's just say for grins, $200 a month.
For each one, that's
No,
600.
For all of it. Just,
Oh, there ain't no way.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just putting a figure up there so we can get a base price, okay? So that 200 times 12 months, that's $2,400 times 10 years, that's $24,000.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure it's a little bit higher than that.
Yeah.
I don't have privy to all that information, right? I mean, at this moment.
Well, that's why I'm asking for it.
So, well, if we're gonna do that, then I would suggest that we postpone this till the next meeting and get those figures and everything. And in the meantime, if the county can do anything to relieve up of some of that, I'd rather have them pay the water and sewer and we'll pay the garbage.
Well, I just think we put enough stuff over there. They've got control over it, and we're paying for whatever comes through there.
But they're paying the employees who work there.
The county is, which comes from the state. They're not coming out of their pocket with nothing. That's all state money.
But the services to our community are
And
valuable.
they're getting paid for that too.
Right, but the benefit is our seniors have, first of all, a place to go. And I've been in there before. There's ladies who come in when it opens and they stay till it closes. So they have a place to go. They have a meal that they can afford to pay for. And all we're doing is paying for the water and the sewer and the trash. I think we're benefiting.
On a 3,000 foot building, we think that's worth it? That's bad business to me.
Well, you don't go over there to get your meals.
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I'm saying the state pays for them people's meals. They're not having to pay for them.
They pay a portion of it. So the meals cost $12 per meal and the people who eat there pay $3. And the other $9's getting picked up by the state.
Cause I got privy to a bunch of that stuff when we was over there giving food away,
Mhm.
when they was buying burritos for $3, selling them for $8 and getting a $5 kickback.
Who was selling stuff?
Yeah. I'm just saying, we just need to look at the figures. And if you don't want to, vote on it.
There,
Yes,
to me,
Counselor.
if that is actually costing us 25,000 for 10 years for our citizens to be able to go have lunch and entertainment for them and get together, to me, that's a drop in the bucket.
But it's just
For
like I
10
said, we're
years.
feeding all them Texans too.
Well, they're putting money in there too. Don't think they aren't. And everybody that goes there pays something.
minimum's $3.
Yeah.
It used to be 2 and it went up here a couple of years ago, or I think.
And how many people do we got eating from this town?
We'll have to
Nobody
find
knows
that out.
that either.
Well, they
Meals
do.
on Wheels is
Quite a
8%.
Where's it at?
We've got somebody here that might could answer that question. How many meals, Darlene, do you deliver?
About 80,
80 here in Redosa Downs?
yeah.
In the Downs.
So in the Downs, in my route, I have 45 people.
And that's only one route.
One route,
So that's just here in the Downs.
yeah.
So Carazosa, Capitan, Ruidoso, they don't feed their own people.
And Caribou.
And Ruidoso don't feed their people?
Alta.
Go all the way down
We
till
do.
from here.
Right here.
Yes, the
Mhm.
Downs,
Yeah.
the senior in the Downs will go all the way out to Alta.
And do you go down towards Hondo?
No, my brothers wanted to just get Hill, White Angel.
So I'm gonna ask a question. Why doesn't Ruidoso feed those people at Alto?
They don't have a setup.
They don't have
They
that.
don't have that.
This is the only one.
This is the only one in the
Yeah.
community here. Yeah.
But what you guys need to think about as well, Meals on Wheels is on the chopping block. It's already had funding cut. Eliminated, unless they recharge it at the federal level. So that's something y'all need to keep an eye on. It's one of the cut programs.
I would make a suggestion to go ahead and sign this contract and maybe amend it if we have to, if we find out it's costing us too much. Can we do that, amend it if,
Why don't we find out first what's going on and then vote on it?
well, I don't want
It's 2
this to
weeks.
stop.
It's not, they're not gonna stop.
Who said?
It's on,
It's the contract. The contract is contingent. It just.
Yeah, they're not gonna stop feeding the people. 'cause
Well,
we're
that's
waiting
what I
2
want to
weeks.
make sure of.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna stop.
if you look, okay, if you read,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
if you look at the paperwork provided, and it was in our packet, it stipulates in there, it's a month-to-month basis until we approve it, okay?
Okay.
Now then, all I'm saying is I would like to see us put this, postpone it till the next meeting. That's 2 weeks, 25th of this month. Counselor Faber can get his eyes on what it costs over the 10 years. And we come back to the table
See how many people we feed and
and all that, then that's gonna be up to you to get all that information and bring it back to the table, and we vote on it on the 24th. I don't want to see it leave. I just want it to be fair to our citizens. And when they pay for as much as they're paying, you go lease anything else anywhere in this country, and a person that's leasing it pays for everything. Now, okay, maybe they won't pay for everything, then pay for the water and the garbage, or pay for the water and sewer, we'll pay for the garbage.
they're not gonna move over water, sewage and garbage.
Well, not long ago, when you own property in Redosa Downs, if I'm not right, you are liable for the sewer, water, and garbage. If you rent that house, you are still liable for that.
The owner is
The owner is liable for the water, sewer, and we made that in one of our laws with utilities, not that long ago even.
But I think the reason that was
Yeah.
done, and I'm just trying to recall why it was done that way, was that we had control over those utilities.
Yeah,
And the electricity was considered to be something
yeah,
that they would pay. and
but they're our very own utilities.
Councilor Miller, I think you're right on that, as I recall. Council,
Okay, I had a rent house. And I made them put the sewer and the water and that in their name and the garbage. Or trash, however you wanna put it, and they had to pay for it. If they didn't pay it, it got cut off. Now, if they moved out and left the bill owing, then I was responsible for it.
Right.
Now, if they didn't, and they come up on the cutoff, the city didn't send me a notice that they was gonna cut it off. But when they moved out in the middle of the night, they left me holding, I won't get into that. Anyway, I paid it.
Back.
Right, I paid it and I let it go because that's what the ruling was. So if someone rents something and they don't put the utilities in the renter's name, they need to get a psych evaluation because it's shooting yourself in the foot.
They need to be in Las Cruces.
Yeah,
But-
that's where I'm fixing to go.
Well,
So that, to me, that's the way it should be.
Councilor Littlefield?
I hear what you're saying. I also know that there's some places like the condominiums, Champions Run. They don't have individual bills, not for sewer, no. There's
Electric.
one big bill.
They pay electric.
They pay their own electric bill. But all of the sewer, water and all that goes into a big pool. They don't individually have separate meters for their building, for each apartment.
But
And
it's okay. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. And when you have an entity within a city like that, like our city, and they have that, they're paying something for the water and the sewer.
and
The people a lot of the people own their own condos, okay? Those people still have to pay so much a month for the water, so much a month for the sewer. I don't care how you put it, how you cut the pie, how you eat it, they're still gonna get you.
Mayor, may I respond?
Councilor Miller, help me out here. I think the homeowners were held responsible because if you held the renters responsible, if they just left, and then most of them are not gonna pay, the city would never get reimbursed. The reason that the homeowner was held responsible so that the city wouldn't get beat out of their money, because those people generally, if they're transit, they're not gonna pay that bill, and so it just doesn't get paid. Am I correct?
I remember doing that, and it
Okay.
doesn't seem like it's been but a couple years ago.
But in this case, the county's not going in.
But no. But that's the reason we were responsible.
Councilor Lacewell?
I'd like to point out that this is a mutually beneficial thing. If the county wasn't running that center, we wouldn't have that center.
Yeah,
And our citizens need that center.
yeah.
And it just seems like a bargain if we pay the water and the sewer and the trash. Because our citizens benefit from it.
I don't see anything wrong with it. They pay their taxes.
But I'm still willing to let Counselor Baber go look at the bills and let this go another month and talk about it.
Well, let's make a motion.
Well, I make a motion that we postpone this, vote on this until the 24th at the next meeting, at which time we will make a discussion and vote on it after Councilor Baber has had a chance to look at what the cost over a 10-year period the city has encumbered on.
Okay, we have,
Let me just amend that, I might, Counselor. Because this is a year-to-year agreement now, all you need to do, in my opinion, is go back 1 year and then you can figure out how much it's gonna cost for the year. And make it easier for you.
I gotta see how many people we're feeding too.
Good record.
Yes, they do.
Is that okay for 1 year and for the past year?
What else for the past year?
I'm just gonna look at it. I'm not gonna tell you, I'm just gonna go look at 1 year. Yeah.
But the motion. that-
I just wanna see what the city has spent for the last 10 years by us paying their bill.
You want to? 1 year,
I think Counselor Baber wanted to keep it at 10, so.
10
10 years,
for what?
to look at the bills for 10 years.
No, I said I wasn't gonna look at just 1 year. I wanted to see what we spent for 10 years.
Well, the
go ahead, Councilor.
new contract is going to be for 1 year.
Right.
So let's figure out if you find out for 10 years, we'll just do the percentage for 1 year. Cause what's passed is spilt milk.
Yeah,
We're not gonna get it back.
10 years ago, I'm sure it was a lot less than it was
Yeah.
last year.
Sure. It don't cost that much.
So did you make the motion?
I made a motion for 10 years to look at it the way you asked for it to be. And we're kicking the ball back and forth now.
Okay, I second it.
10 years?
I can go look at the records for 10 years.
Okay.
Not the lease for 10 years.
Okay, Counselor Lacewell,
Aye.
Counselor Baber,
Aye.
Counselor Miller,
All right.
Counselor Proctor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Takes care of our business. We are adjourned.
I guess.